welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan and I make videos about homeschooling and motherhood, and so this is kind of one of those videos about how I finally lost weight as a mom, specifically a homeschool mom. So as homeschool moms, the kids never go away, they're always here, so we have to figure out a way to do the stuff that we need to do anyway. So that's what this video is all about. So I'm gonna start at the very beginning, where before I had my first child, or before I was pregnant with her, I started out at 140 pounds and I was 20 years old at the time. So a lot of time has passed in this entire thing, but I started off at 140 pounds and that was like a good weight for me. I was not overweight, I was not underweight. It was good. A little backstory on me. I've always been like, I was always like forced to eat my whole plate when I was a kid, and like encouraged to eat like seconds and more and stuff, and we were like really like skinny active kids. I did cross country, so I would just be eating like tons of food. Like I would eat 3 bowls of pasta and I would still be hungry after, and like I just carried those habits on into adulthood. But I also was like training for a marathon before I got pregnant with my first child, so lifestyle was okay up until that point. But then after becoming a mom and not having all the time in the world to run like hours a day, it caught up with me. So then my habits as a mom were just really not good. I would just always, because of how I was always did it when I was a kid, I would just always eat until I was like totally stuffed. Like I would never just stop eating because I thought it was enough food. I would just keep eating and eating and eating until my stomach was like hurting basically. Anytime I was having like a hard day and the kids were like stressing me out a little bit, I would like go get like a treat from the pantry, or like we used to buy this pre-made cookie dough, and then I would like eat it throughout the day every time like things got a little bit stressful. That was not good. I also used to buy those like Starbucks creamers from Target, and like, or just any like the Chobani, like super sugary plant-based milk, even creamers to put in my coffee. Those are really not good, but I would have that every day, sometimes like twice a day. Sometimes I would just not eat anything all day, so then I would only eat dinner. So I would think like, oh, since I didn't eat all day, like it's okay to eat like an outrageous amount of food because I didn't eat anything all day. But I was eating like more than a day's worth of calories in just one meal, and then having like a treat or something at night with my husband, like it was just too much. So yeah, those are my bad habits. And I also like stopped working out after I had more kids because I felt like it was like too difficult to manage like stress wise with all of them. But now that I have 4 kids, I think it would have been much easier for me to work out when I only had 1, but I just, in my mind, it was too stressful. One last bad habit: when we would go to eat at a restaurant, I would just get a lot of food because I would tell myself like, oh, I haven't really been eating much throughout the day, so I would get like 2 sandwiches, like 2 chicken sandwiches plus a milkshake, and I would eat some fries or like the kids' leftover food too if they didn't finish their food. And I just don't do that anymore. But yes, so those are all my bad habits that pretty much brought me to the point where the day that I gave birth to my 4th child, my son, I was 230 pounds. So if you think about that, I went in 7 years, I went from 140 pounds to 230 pounds. That's pretty crazy. So immediately after he was born, I was at 215. So if you go from 140 to 215, that is a 65 pound weight difference, weight gain, over the course of about 6 to 7 years, which that's pretty crazy. Most people don't like just do that, but you know, pregnancy, breastfeeding. I never was able to lose weight breastfeeding, but I never tried changing my diet. I'm sure I could have lost at least more than that if I would have changed my eating habits. But anyway, so I had this 65 extra pounds, and then over the next few weeks, when I got to 6 weeks postpartum, I was at 195. I stayed that weight until February of 2024, when I finally decided enough is enough. I'm not happy like this. I just, like, I would look in the mirror, I was not happy with what I saw, and I've never been one to say like, oh, you have to accept yourself at whatever weight. So I just was not happy with this. Didn't like how I looked, didn't like how my clothes fit me, I just felt like I looked like super frumpy. I felt kind of like slow. I had already been working out like 6 months prior to this, and like I had no results. So I was like, I have to do something crazy. So I was like Googling on the internet how to lose weight before getting like a gastric bypass surgery or something. They would make the patients like go on an 800 calorie a day diet for like a few weeks so that they could drastically lose more weight. I'm not sure why you have to lose more weight before you get the surgery, but yeah, so I read that. So I was like, okay, if people can like be okay for this short amount of time on a small amount of calories, why can't I? Like, you know, why not try it? And I didn't think that it was actually gonna work. I thought that I had some sort of like thyroid problem that I didn't know about or something, like that because I have some sort of health problem, that's the reason why I haven't lost weight all these years. And I could not have been more wrong. I just like committed to that, and I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't like weigh my food or like super hardcore measure things. I would just like look at the package or like Google how many calories something has. So I ate 800 calories a day. Sometimes I ate like a little bit more than that, which is okay. But I never went like way over that. I don't think I ever ate more than 1,200 calories on any given day during the first 3 weeks. I was like, I'm gonna eat 800 calories a day, and that's what I did. During that time, I also didn't like work out super hard because, like I said, I worked out a lot for like pretty strenuous for 6 months before that and got no results. So I just really wanted to focus on changing my eating habits instead of like trying to work out so much. So I have a stationary bike that my husband bought for me because I said like I'd be interested in going to a gym, but I just don't like to be around people. So I would only do that for 20 minutes a day for the first 3 weeks, and sometimes I didn't even do it and I was still getting results, so I was good with that. After the first 3 weeks, I lost 15 pounds immediately. So that really like helped me a lot with motivation, because I was like, oh, I actually can do this. Like, it's possible. And like, I've just been the problem all this time, like eating way too much like all the time. I was at 180, which I haven't seen that number in like a super duper long time, which is really funny is that that's the weight I was the day that I was giving birth to my first child. So I thought it was funny because I didn't look like that big, but yeah, at one point that was like me being like huge. So after the initial first 3 weeks where I ate only 800 calories a day, and it was easy for me to do that 20-minute workout with my kids around. Like, they would always be there. Sometimes they were outside of the door like watching TV or something, and I would just be doing it, and like sometimes they'd be like right in here with me, like fighting, crying, screaming, and I would just try to keep my composure. Sometimes I didn't keep my composure, but I would just keep going. I knew it was only for 20 minutes, so if someone was like crying, it was gonna be okay. It's only 20 minutes. Sometimes I would be holding my son while I was on there. Like, I was just committed to doing it. So then that small amount of working out built up the momentum of like, I have a habit of working out. So I gradually added a little bit more, and the kids were more used to it, so they'd be less likely to bother me while I was doing it. I like gradually increased working out more to lose more weight. Never got up early to do it. When my son was a little bit younger, it would always be during his nap time. Then when we started school, I started waking up at 5 a.m. to do this. And so that was after I had already been working out for like 8 months or something. So it was like an established routine for me. So it wasn't difficult. I don't recommend trying to wake up at 5 a.m. when you haven't done any of this before, because it's just too difficult. I think you should start with like small habits and like build up over time. After that point, I just completely changed my eating habits forever. I decided I was not going to go back to how I was. I thought I was going to gain it all back, but then I realized like you have control over like what you do. So still to this day, I always get like a small portion size. I get one plate and that's it. I don't go back for seconds. I don't like eat like tons of food. I never ever eat to the point of being stuffed. Like, if I go to a buffet place and my husband wants us to like get our money's worth, like I'll eat like a decent amount of food. I will not eat like breakfast or lunch if we're doing that, or if it's lunch, I'll only like have that meal and I'll eat like a lot. But I will never ever again like eat to the point of being stuffed. Like maybe only once, but like it's not going to be like a habit of mine ever again. Oh, I didn't cut out sugar, but I stopped adding sugar to my coffee. And at first, like the first time I tried it, I literally gagged because I thought it tasted so disgusting. But then I got used to it and I realized it actually tasted good. I was just used to like having too much sugar. And so I started out with a hot one because like a hot latte tastes a little bit better with no sugar than an iced one. But then after I got used to that, then an iced one tasted good to me too, even without sugar. So I would sometimes like eat a sugary treat. I didn't like cut sugar. I would just, you know, make sure it didn't like go over like too many calories, you know. I don't like obsess over calories. I have like a general awareness of it. I have a rough idea of how many calories I've eaten. I try not to eat more than 800 calories in one meal. I do that is because I drink a lot of coffee and I put milk in it, so that already like 2 times a day has a lot of calories, so I don't want my meals to have too many. The main point of all this is that you definitely can do this with your kids. You just have to do it, and the main focus should not be working out. It definitely should be diet. Like, working out will do nothing for you if you don't change your eating habits. I did not do this until I was almost done breastfeeding because I didn't want to like affect the quality of the milk. I think that you could probably still do it. Definitely do not do the 800 calorie a day diet if you're still breastfeeding. That's just not a good idea. I would just like cut down your calories some, you know, not like eat like so crazy much, you know, and work out. Now, after I've been working out for a long time, it's kind of like part of the routine. Like the kids will come work out with me if I didn't do it at 5 a.m. and they just know it's happening. They don't really bother me anymore. Sometimes my toddler son will kind of mess with me a little bit. If I'm on my walking pad now, like I am just like watching him the whole time. I make sure he doesn't get behind me and I tell him like, don't touch. He knows he's not supposed to touch it. It's just amazing to me how straightforward weight loss is, and I believed it was so complicated. What you have to do, it really comes down to calories in, calories out, mostly, you know. It has to be like clean foods, you know, not too much junk. You can't eat like 800 calories of junk and be okay. But it's very simple, very straightforward. If you will do it and you don't have any sort of like actual health problems, it will work out for you if you just do it and you commit to it and you stay with it. I'm gonna show my home gym stuff that I have. Okay, here's my home gym equipment. This is my mat. I will leave all the Amazon links to everything in the description, but here is my workout mat, and it's actually real rubber. These are my dumbbells. They're only 8 pounds. I use them to do like dumbbell squats and lunges. I have these things. I haven't used these in a long time, but this is when I really started cranking up working out. They're from Amazon, and you can just adjust the weights. There's little 2.5 pounds and 5 pound things. Here is the stationary bike from Amazon that started it all. It's just really basic. Super simple, super basic. It was kind of expensive, but it's not as expensive as some other ones that are out there. This is my walking pad, which for some reason has food on it right now or something, but it has an incline on there for like a 10% incline. Super basic, like $100 on Amazon, but I love that thing. So here's how I look now. I don't really have any videos how I looked before, but these shorts used to be super tight on me. They're size 12. Now they're like way too big, but yeah, I'll get new ones soon. But that's pretty much it. That's how I lost 33 pounds now. My starting weight was 195, which I say that because that's when I started my weight loss journey. Starting weight was 195, and now my weight is 163. So I'm trying to get down to 159 just because that's on a BMI chart when I would no longer be considered overweight, which if you look at me now, I don't think that I am overweight, but whatever. Anyway, so if you have any questions, comment down below. If you like homeschool mom content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.